you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you'll know that I love RPGs. The fantastical world, the memorable characters, the sweet, sweet numbers. I love it all, so I decided to do a top 5 list of my favorite RPGs of all time. A few rules. I will only allow one game per franchise. Otherwise, there would be a lot of one series on this list. We all know which one. Second, I will not be including any MMORPGs on here. I'm planning on saving those for their own list. So that being said, let's get started with number 5. The Knights of the Old Republic series, created by BioWare and Obsidian Entertainment respectively, are some of the best Star Wars games ever made. Taking place thousands of years before the events of the original trilogy, players are dropped into a galaxy that is wrought with turmoil, full of, Star Wars. The player creates their characters and follows their own path through the storylines. While the first game is often heralded as a landmark in the RPG genre, I personally prefer the second game, the Sith Lords. To me, the storyline is just a bit more enjoyable and the characters are a lot more relatable. Plus, I don't have to listen to Mission's whiny-ass voice. Since both games are basically identical in terms of gameplay, this is enough to put the second game over the first game for me personally. However, if you prefer the first game for some reason, that is still completely valid. Both games are incredible and are must-plays for any fan of either Star Wars or role-playing games in general. Freedom. That is what the Elder Scrolls series has always meant to me. The freedom to go anywhere, do anything, at any time. If I want to get lost in an adventure for hours on end, I always turn to this franchise. While any of the games in this series offer such unmatched freedom, the fourth game, Oblivion, is easily the best in my humble opinion. While both Morrowind and Skyrim are equally fantastic, Oblivion's mechanics put this game over the top for me. The character progression system may not be as open as Skyrim's, but the class system allowed for more replayability, as I didn't feel like I could do everything on one character, and the choices I made regarding how to play at any given time felt like they mattered. Whereas in Skyrim, I could see everything with one character. While this may sound like it flies in the face of the whole freedom thing, and in fact it does, I think that it makes for more meaningful gameplay. That is why the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion deserves the number 4 spot. Now, this game belongs on this list almost more for sentimental reasons than any real gameplay ones. While the tactical gameplay is incredibly fun once you get a hang of it, and the world is fairly well imagined, the overall story is pretty ham-fisted and generic. That being said, this is one of the first RPGs I ever played years and years ago when I was but a wee tyke. It introduced me to the idea of character growth and progression, not to mention making me aware of tactical RPGs, which is one of my favorite subgenres. It might be a bit of a cop-out, but for my history with it alone, Shining Force deserves its place on this list. Deus Ex. This game is one of the best games ever made, period. Its story is fantastic, its characters memorable, its mechanics revolutionary. Developed by Ion Storm and released in the year 2000, the plot centers around a massive conspiracy involving the Illuminati, human augmentation, AI, all kinds of crazy cyberpunk stuff. It is deep and philosophical, and there's just so much I can say about this game, but I won't because I do not want to spoil even a little bit of it so that you can go and play it and experience its awesome. The only negative about this game is that graphically it's not aged well. However, if you buy the Game of the Year edition on Steam, you can download the fan mod Deus Ex Revision, which improves things significantly. The mod was even fully endorsed by the game's publishers. Now, they say that every time someone mentions Deus Ex, someone somewhere reinstalls it. So hopefully there is a person out there right now enjoying the game that takes the number 2 spot on my list. Now before we move on to the number 1 game, why not look at a pair of games that almost made the cut, but not quite. Let's be honest, we all knew that a Final Fantasy game was going to appear on this list somewhere, more than likely at number 1. And with the 1 game per franchise rule, I had to choose the best one. Now, everyone has their favorite. Hell, most people have a few favorites. I myself had to debate between 9 and 10 for this list. Ultimately though, 10 won out. Why, you ask? Final Fantasy X is the reason why I love RPGs. The storyline is one that resonated with me deeply. Growing up, I related to Tidus. He was a fish out of water, he didn't belong, much like how I felt like I didn't belong in my life. But what Tidus had was a close group of friends who all helped each other through any hardships they faced, just like I had. I played this game at a time when I needed it, and that, in addition to a fantastic battle system and a character growth system that allows for crazy amounts of customization, if you're playing the international version that is, makes this game my favorite RPG of all time. Now, what is your favorite RPG of all time? Leave it in the comments down below. If you liked this video, feel free to subscribe for more entertainment-related content in the future. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.